Hello and welcome to World News on the Papyrus Global TV. My name is Christiana Babayo, and here are the headlines. South Africans mourn children killed in school bus crash. Wife of Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine hospitalized after military raid on home. Egypt's foreign minister hosts U.S. envoy in Cairo to advance bilateral cooperation. Egypt's President el-Sissi rejects Israeli proposals to relocate Palestinians out of Gaza. Protesters in Johannesburg demand release of Venezuelan President Maduro. Ivory Coast President appoints brother as Deputy Prime Minister in government reshuffle. Former U.S. President declares U.S. core values under attack, criticizes Trump following Minneapolis shooting. And now the news in full. Families, classmates, and community members gathered at a sport complex in Vereeniging, Gauteng province, to pay tribute to schoolchildren killed in a tragic bus accident earlier this week. The memorial drew large crowds, including government officials, pupils, and residents offering support to the bereaved families. The children had been traveling in a privately operated minibus transporting students to their schools south of Johannesburg when it collided with a truck on 19 January on a Monday morning. South African authorities later confirmed that several students died in the crash and that other children and adults were injured or hospitalized. Two more of the injured teenagers died of their wounds in the days after the collision, bringing the known toll to at least 14 pupils. At the service, Panyaza Lesufi, Premier of Gauteng, said the tragedy was felt not only by families but by the nation as a whole, acknowledging the profound emotional impact on parents, friends, and classmates. Speakers described the young victims as vibrant children whose loss has left a deep hole in their communities. Government representatives and community leaders reiterated calls for better safety oversight of school transport services. The bus driver was charged in connection with the crash, and authorities have emphasized the need for compliance with licensing and safety requirements for vehicles carrying school children. Barbara Kyagulanyi, wife of opposition leader Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu, popularly known as Bobi Wine, is in hospital following an overnight raid on her home by soldiers searching for her husband. Kyagulanyi spoke to journalists from her hospital bed, recounted the incident during a tense post-election period marked by violence and political unrest. The raid occurred at the couple's residence in Magere, a northern suburb of Kampala, while Bobi Wine, a prominent challenger in the disputed January 15th presidential election, was not present. In a social media post, Wine said hundreds of soldiers entered the home, broke down doors, and held his wife at gunpoint as they sought to learn his whereabouts. Kyagulanyi said she refused orders to unlock her phone or reveal information about her husband's location and was later rushed to the hospital. Wine's account, circulated widely on social media and covered by news outlets, has not been independently verified by Ugandan authorities. Military spokesperson did not immediately respond to requests or comments. Tens of thousands of opposition members have been detained, and at least 30 have been reportedly killed in post-election violence, according to statements from military leadership. Egypt's foreign minister welcomed the United States special envoy to Cairo for high-level talks focused at strengthening bilateral cooperation between the two countries. The discussions underscored shared interest in regional stability, economic ties, and ongoing diplomatic coordination on Middle East issues. The meeting brought together Egypt's top diplomatic official and the U.S. envoy to review current collaboration frameworks and explore ways to enhance cooperation in areas of mutual strategic interest, including economic development, security partnerships, and political coordination on regional crises. It was held against the backdrop of a continued U.S.-Egypt engagement on issues ranging from counter-terrorism to peace efforts in neighboring conflict zones. Officials on both sides described the session as productive and emphasized the long-standing relationship between Cairo and Washington. The Egyptian Foreign Ministry said it values sustained engagement with international partners to address shared challenges, including economic recovery needs, foreign investment expansion, and diplomatic initiatives promoting stability across North Africa and Middle East. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sissi has again rejected Israeli proposals that would involve relocating Palestinian civilians out of Gaza Strip, stressing that such plans are unacceptable and would violate the rights of displaced populations. His position was articulated in remarks during a meeting with senior government officials and foreign diplomats in Cairo. El-Sissi reiterated that Egypt remains committed to supporting humanitarian access into Gaza and facilitating diplomatic efforts aimed at achieving a durable ceasefire and eventual peace. The president criticized any proposals perceived as coercive relocations that could exacerbate the humanitarian crisis and displace civilians from their homes. Egypt has played a central role in mediation efforts between Israel and Palestinian factions, including hosting negotiating delegations and facilitating indirect talks in recent months. Cairo's position emphasizes that solutions must respect international law, humanitarian principles, and the rights of civilians, including their right to remain in or return to their homes. El-Sisi's stance underscores Egypt's concerns about the potential destabilizing effects of large-scale population movements and its broader diplomatic approach to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Egypt's government reiterated its support for international frameworks that prioritize diplomacy and humanitarian aid, including ongoing coordination with regional partners, the United States and United Nations agencies involved in relief and reconstruction planning.
We will now go on a short break, and when we come back, the news will continue. Stay tuned.
The Papyrus Global, we don't just cover events, we create cinematic experiences. From red carpets to birthdays, gala dinners, and your fairy tale weddings, we bring your moments to life with high-tech precision. Our gadgets are smarter, our lenses sharper, and our team simply world-class. Trust the Papyrus Global to tell your story in the boldest, brightest way possible.
Welcome back, and now the news will continue.
Celia Flores. The peaceful demonstration was organized by labor unions and political groups expressing solidarity with Venezuela and opposition to foreign intervention. The protest was led by members of the South African Communist Party and the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, along with other trade union activists who said they were formally submitting a memorandum condemning what they described as an President Alassane Ouattara has reshaped his government by appointing his brother Tene Barahima Ouattara as Deputy Prime Minister, while retaining his role as Minister of Defense. The move came as part of a wider cabinet adjustment following the ruling party's strong showing in recent elections. The reshuffle was announced after Qatar's rally of Houthis for Democracy and Peace (RHDP) secured large majority in the December 2025 parliamentary elections and follows his own re-election in October 2025. Most senior ministers kept their positions, highlighting continuity in governance priorities. Tene Birahima Ouattara's elevation to Deputy Prime Minister establishes him as a key figure in the administration, maintaining his influence over national defense and broadening his responsibilities. Longtime Prime Minister Robert Bega Mambe remains in place, while Patrick Achi, a former Prime Minister, has been appointed Speaker of Parliament. The cabinet changes reflect President Ouattara's strategy to balance political stability with internal party positioning, consolidating leadership roles within his cycle while preparing the government for future policy goals and potential leadership transitions. Former U.S. President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama have sharply criticized President Donald Trump's administration and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) following the fatal shooting of Alex Pretty by federal agents in Minneapolis, saying the incident reflects an assault on America's core values and should serve as a national wake-up call. The Obamas issued a joint statement condemning the killing of Pretty, a 37-year-old nurse, and calling it a heartbreaking tragedy that transcends partisan politics. They said the event should alert every American to what they describe as an erosion of principles such as accountability, lawful conduct, and respect for civil liberties in federal enforcement operations. In their comments, the former president and First Lady criticized the tactics of ICE and other and other departments of Homeland Security components involved in enforcement operations in Minneapolis, saying such actions appear to intimidate, harass, and endanger residents rather than uphold public safety in cooperation with local authorities. They urged broader reflection and action from the public and officials alike to protect fundamental American values. The statement came amid intense national debate in the U.S. about federal law enforcement practices and executive branch oversight following several high profile incidents this month. Bipartisan calls for investigation and accountability have emerged alongside peaceful protests and legislative discussions on immigration enforcement policies and civil rights protections. Trump administration officials have defended the agent's action as part of lawful immigration enforcement, while critics, including the Obamas and other political leaders, argue that the response highlights broader concerns about federal force and constitutional rights. And that's all we have in world news on the Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. Thanks for joining us.